American would say. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday night. We got a few minutes here, so I figured I'd jump on. See anybody got any grand questions? Anything going on out there? Anybody tackle a job today? Working on an overhead, or even maybe a man door, or maybe a sliding door. Oh, I remember the sliding door days. I don't miss that. Actually, I walked into Menards. Maybe if Tanner comes, I think I got some in here. I don't think I took it out. I wanted to see if maybe we got the right lube. The right lube. I tried some different ones. I was gonna stop at Harbor Freight. Yeah, I was gonna stop at Harbor Freight, and I was gonna get the spray bottle or the spray majigger, and I didn't. But I see Tanner jumped on here. Let me see if I can grab. Maybe I pulled him out. Did I pull him out? I don't remember. Reaching. Don't know. What's all in here? There's all kinds of goodies. I might have pulled him out. Is it the 3-in-1 though? Is it made by, who's the company it's made by? I took a picture of it. I'll have to send it. Maybe I have to send it to Tanner. Got me some of those classic light bulbs. I think they had the underwaters, but I decided not to do the underwaters. I still did the 60 watts. This is what I've been using from Menards. Where does it say anything? It just says whatever this is. There it is. 60 watts. Bada bing. So far, no problems, no interference. It's gonna be kind of weird, isn't it? Eventually, we're not gonna be buying light bulbs for garage doors. That's gonna be crazy. We're gonna be just have those built-in LEDs. Oh, that's bright. I see. I bought me a can of WD to try for a spray. Ah, here it is. I do have it. I do. Let's take a look-ski, shall we? Is this the stuff, Tanner, to use? Is it 3-in-1? I figure we'll try it. We'll give it a try. You already got your stuff? How the hell did you get your stuff, PT? I got the PT special right here. Look at that. Oh, I figure you could at least douse the springs with it. Not really fond of the bearings so much, especially being heavy duty commercial, or the rollers. But I figure it's worth a try. Like, you know, you can try this in the rollers. I don't know if I'm gonna try that spray bottle or not. And then I did get a couple extensions. $50, like $60, man. Because we got those box store ones. So I got the Chamberlain. Probably can't see this out good. Oops, upside down too. Oh, the Chamberlain. I thought they were $100. I was like, no way. But that's for a 10-foot rail. I was like, go fly a kite, man. So a bunch of errand shopping today. I finally got restocked back up on the gloves. I gave a bunch because we had that blizzard. I sure do like these. I like these Kinko ones. These ones that are deer skin. They're soft. And then they got the inner. It's a white inner fuzzy. So they only had medium. It was really nice. I actually shout out to Family Farm and Home because the lady there, she was like, we just put them away. And I was like, oh. And she's like, but they're in the back. They're organized. They're just in totes. And I'm like, all right. And so she was insistent. She's like, we'll just go back there and take a look. And I'm like, all right. And then we didn't find none. And then finally found them. I normally would get the large, but I tried on the mediums and I was like, oh, mediums they're not too bad. They fit pretty snug. So they fit good. I said, you know what? Give me 4 pairs of those. Because I said, I donated mine. Mine got chewed up. With that blizzard, we had the blizzard. So yeah, so I got that. I feel like I tried a different lube too. Where did it go? Here it is. Here's another one. Oh, no, this is carb. I'm running a carbon cleaner. So this is just clean a carb. No, that's not it. Try again. Right, reach in. I go to Menards. I like just let them, if I have the right person, I just have them just like do everything in the shopping cart. I hate that whole thing. You got to put it on a conveyor. The crap's falling over. Then you got to bag the crap. It's like, I want service. I come here for service. So So I figure I'll try this too, just to give her the winger. You know what I mean? It's lube, it's wet, it's liquid. Tanner, I think you, yes, that's the lube. I use the 3-in-1. So what's your theory on it? Is it just a little bit bigger can? I don't know if it's the same ounce. It says weight. Let me see here. If this one says anything. This one's not showing right away. I'm sure it's on here somewhere. Let me turn this light on too. Get some extra lighting. It says it's made in America. This stuff is. Blaster. I'm not seeing a weight. Okay, it's 90 something. So this can is a little bit bigger, the 3-in-1 here. This is what, 90.3 ounces or 263 grams. This is 300. So this one's 311 grams. So a little bit bigger. I think it was roughly about the same price. I don't know if I've used this. I probably have, but I don't remember it. I don't know if it's how it sprays. So what is it? A little bit cheaper than the service spring stuff. Grow in your sleep. Or no, I don't know about my knee. I mean, it healed after I took a skill saw to it. I tried to cut it off, but I didn't get all the way through. Oh yeah, thanks. Like I said, PT, if you need a bigger one too, like I said, I didn't even get one. I mean, I got some, but they're large, but I gotta have extra large. So if you need an extra large, let me know, because I'm gonna have another order probably, and we'll get some XLs. So I didn't realize the XLs, because I thought, like, we got 2 skinny guys. One's Caleb, one's another guy, another tech. And I didn't realize with the skinny guys that their problem is in the arms, you know, because they're tall and they're lanky. So I didn't realize the arms were an issue for them. So they were like, they wanted extra large. And I was like, oh, well, I kind of did a half order, you know what I mean? Like half extra large, half large. And that way it was more or less, it was kind of for me, maybe a couple for, you know, here and there, but they all got gobbled up. So that's all right. It's all good. Works. It's easy, cheapish, and the spray tube, hell yeah, made. America? I don't know if this one, I don't know about, like I said, I don't know if this one says this and where it's made. I know the other one was made. I don't know if this one will say America. Not sure. It says to shake well item. I don't know. This one does not pronounce, like the 3-in-1 here does not just go out and sit on a limb and say probably made in America. So I don't know, but you know, it's worth a shot. I mean, we got the other lube. I just figured. So I think what was kind of happening is, and I can't blame him. I think his finger was getting tired from holding the trigger. So I was hoping maybe a little nicer trigger, or like I said, we might bring the pumper. I thought the pumper thing would work good, and that way you could just spray the springs, you know, with some pressure. I just don't know how long, you know, I'd like to say it's going to work pretty good, but I don't know how long the pressure will last. In the air one that's from Harbor Freight, I mean, you've got plenty of air there, but I just don't know how, like, I don't want to like overfill it too, you know what I mean? Like, have to bring it down, fill it, slop in WD, and then like put it back together and be like, you know, and then be like, is that too much? And next thing, boom, the thing explodes on me, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, you know, stupid Harbor Freight piece of junk. So I guess you can use a bicycle, but it's kind of like, seems like that's the same thing, right? If I got a tank and mine's already got the pumper on it, you just, and then you could just spray it. It's just for the springs, because he was using that gel stuff, and it was coming, I could watch him from the ground, and it was like coming out like a gel, and I was just like, ooh, it's like, that's not misting it very nice like I would like to see, just to keep the rust and keep a little lubrication. Hopefully, like I said, they keep doing good. They're doing yearly preventative maintenance, and so that's good. That's good. And these doors are from 18, so they're getting about due. You know, they're gonna start. And then when the springs go, what would you guys do? If you blow a spring, there's 4 of them. My theory is you would change all 4. It's a lot of springs. That's a lot of springs if you don't keep up on them. So I'm almost thinking what we should do is we should probably get the numbers off the springs, and that way it's documented. So when they call and go, yeah, one of the springs blew or broke. Of course, the doors I think might be a little different there. Fudge. That's what we should be doing. Dang it, maybe we have still time. We should be doing we should document, because I'm going around right now and I'm looking. So I'm looking for like a tag. Like I swear I've seen dog tags or something, like a little round. I've seen them on not fence posts, but telephone poles where they tag. I don't know what kind of little tool they use to tag them, but I want something like that, or it's plastic where you could put like a crimper on it and it would crimp into the plastic, because I don't really have a good idea, because I'm trying to find a way to identify these doors, because this building for some reason does not have door numbers. Of course, by the time I do all this work, that's this summer here, they'll probably put door numbers on there, because you should always have door numbers on your building, so that way everybody can say go to door 3 or go to door 6 or go to whatever. But they don't. So I'm trying to find a way to tag them. I did find some tags with zip ties, and then it's like I don't know if you've ever done semi trucks, but it's like a security tag where if it's broke, you're not supposed to take the load, but you could like zip tie it almost, and then you'd have a tag, and you could, I thought about something like that for the rollers, but you can't see it from the distance. That's the only thing. I thought maybe a little more roundish tag that we could either put a screw in it. That would look at, it's like America behind me. Look at that, red, white, and blue. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be easier to identify. And it wouldn't be blown in the wind, or a tag, or just somebody would think about putting their finger through and break it off. Watch this. Stupid tags. Probably never took it off since it was new. People do weird things. Is it Chaden? Chaden? Am I saying that right? It says hello. Hope you're doing good. Is formula of 3 in 1 sweat and tears of garage door. That's a good one. I like that. That's a funny. Oh man, I don't know. There sure is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in garage doors, isn't there? Oh my goodness, man, those variables. I've been just thinking about it. I was thinking, and here's the honest to God truth, right? And I don't know. Like I said, take this with a grain of salt, right? I got a family member that I was like, yeah, you can go down this rabbit hole. And I seen he was out working today. I'm sure he's out doing estimates. And I haven't talked to him in a while. And so I see, like, he bought a one of the Ford, what is it, a Ford Mavericks or whatever. And I'm sure, but it's like you're always trying to, like I said, you're always trying to stay above the head, right? And I'm not saying that's not going to happen to me, because I still keep thinking about it, and I don't know how you're going to. I hate that you got to keep chasing that tail in the garage door or service business. It's really tough, because I'm sitting there and I'm going, darn well. So anyways, so what happened was I went to Menards, and I seen a Nissan. There was a newer Nissan Frontier sitting there. I was like, yeah, it's a nice looking little truck. It's got the longer bed. I'm gonna walk over and take a look at it. So I walk over, it's got the right color, it's blue. I was like, wow, that looks kind of nice. Thank you too, by the way, for 5 likes. Might hit the like button. So anyway, I walk over to the Nissan, I'm kind of checking it out. I'm like, it sits low, you could still reach in it. My one thing was, I went, does it still have, like, this truck has both grab handles. I think that's the right way to do a truck, right? A pick 'em up truck should have grab handles on both sides. You know what I mean? Get your hiney in and out. And anyways, there was a Ford Maverick sitting not too far. Well, of course, guess what? The Ford Maverick, no grab handles. I don't even think it had one on the passenger side. But the Nissan did. The Nissan had on both sides. And I was like, that a boy. It's a newer one. I don't know what year it was, probably 12. It wasn't more than 19. But, I was just thinking, sometimes, the quality, like I was thinking about that old truck you got, and I was thinking, that thing gets about 15 miles a gallon. And I was thinking, I'm going to check what a new Hemi makes, for gas mileage. And I thought that thing has way less hoses and air stuff and like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, why is there so much complexity out here? And then like I listened to that one guy and he said everything's got so much plastic on it. And it's like, I'm watching a guy talk about with tools, how many tools got more plastic than metal, and I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. What's up, Rusty? Anybody work today? I think Evan, were you doing something today? Did you finish up a job today? A 9x7 or something like that, possibly. I had a guy down in Kalamazoo, Michigan. He was messaging me. And he's like something like, if you'd come down here, if we could just buy the panels. And I'm like, dude, you're too far away. Like, and then I said something about, and then he's come back and he said, could I still buy the panels from you? And I said, I could sell you a complete door. I said, but I can't sell you the panels. I said, honestly, it's going to be cheaper for you to find a door company down there. Because I'm already sitting here and I'm going, I already know how this rabbit hole is going to go. As soon as they make a purchase, it ain't going to be right. Something ain't going to be right. They're going to do something wrong. You know what I mean? And then it's going to be, well, I got these panels. And then they're going to come back. They're going to come back damaged. So it's like, this is not a good, this ain't going to work, dude. You can buy the whole kit, or you can go find somebody else to cater to, or that'll cater to you. So, things you gotta babysit. Just a little babysitting. Dang, man. 3 10x12s. Was it no tear outs? Just all new construction? Concrete? Good jams? Were the doors delivered, or did you have to bring the doors? See, there's a lot of little stuff that goes into there. Because was it for a builder and the builder had the stuff there? What about garbage? Did you include garbage? Was your vehicle cleaned and ready to go by the time you were done? That's something we got, when I was reading that paperwork, that stuff, man, that stuff adds up. You know what I mean? Like, I never looked at it before. I used to always just look at jobs and was like, well, it probably takes me like 3 hours. Hell no, man. By the time you load up the truck, and then you got to factor into when you unloaded the truck, right? When you had to unload it, then you got to reload it. Then you get to the customer, and then you got to unload it. It's amazing how many times you touch garage doors. It just blows my mind. And then it's like I'm watching one tech the other, I don't know, it's a month ago or whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I think he still had the door in his van. And I think he gutted it, threw the junk on the ground, then took the new, brought it in. And I was just like, dude, like, that's way more steps. Now, I ain't going to say nothing because he's faster than me. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, you do you, boo, whatever works. But I think you don't like the clutter in there, which I understand that. But to me, it's like, I only want to handle stuff once or as little as possible. Once it's already in my hands, I do not want to put it on the ground to pick it back up. So, what's this? Tanner Maverick don't need Graham Dave. They don't put on it and put out. What does it says? And they don't plan on it making it out of the parking lot. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a good economical vehicle, and when they're new, they're fine. But like I said, it's when you're in the contractor world, it's a gnarly chase. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things. You start your customers dictate your life. You start running into, I need this, and I need another trailer, I need another scissor, I need another truck, I need, and it's hard. It's really hard. It's like right now, it's like, what do? You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't really want to buy new crap because it's crap. But what do you do? Or do you just go, well, I'm just going to keep it for 3 years. I'm going to turn it in, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe things aren't, timber. What is this, financial? I'm waiting for the kiddo. Oh, 10 by 8s. Gotcha. Doors, 2 of the 2. Nice. Nice. Well, that's good. I didn't do much. I ended up dropping the kid off. I ended up running errands. Basically, Menards, family farm. And then by the time I got back, I loaded, unloaded, ate a little bit, exercised. It was like time to basically hit the road, do a few errands. So today it feels like really, stuff that has to get done. And then tomorrow might stop still at the old harbor, but I don't know. I might try that pump. Maybe we'll just do the pump. I think the grease gun's good to go. Got to probably Sunday, probably got to load the truck back up. More time. It's okay. You'll live forever. I was trying to see if this was somebody I knew. I don't think so. I think they got a fuel tank. I don't think that's new construction. I provided the doors, got there and unloaded, installed all 3, cleaned up trash, hour and a half, drive home. Oh man, ready for bed. I bet those are long days. When I used to do 2 to 3 doors a day, especially when you got summer. In the summertime, you can do it with all those long hours. A lot of daylight. You're a whoop puppy, man. It's like you can't even, which I should talk about that a little bit too. Just remember, if you do have guys, if you're running guys, or even yourself, there is a real thing about getting burned out, and it hits sometimes, and it can hit hard. It's happened to me probably 3-6 times, and you gotta watch that, man. It's like you'll turn into like you're not even enjoying life. You're just a robot. You know what I mean? And so that's why, really the power of no, and learning what jobs you want to do and what you don't want to take, and listening to the customer on the phone, and also just planning good piss poor planning, piss poor results. So it's all about planning, scheduling, being proactive. There's just so much. Like, I got to go through. I'm pretty sure I know what I got to load back up, but I literally wanted to take my rack off, and then I went, ooh. I said, but we still might get more snow or rain, so I can't have the back end. Which I did look for another. I looked for another topper just for a minute, but I don't think that's the way I want to roll, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, the cleanup takes time. Getting everything restocked takes time. Loading up in the morning, unless you load up the night before, which I've done quite a bit of that. What is it? Is it ODST1? What are you using? Are you using a van, using a truck, using a trailer? How are you getting stuff there? Rusty sent me his truck. His truck was really loaded. He was giving me crap, man. He's like, you try to fit that in your van? I was like, yeah, I'd be pulling a trailer. Trailers can suck sometimes, though, depending on where you're going, especially if you're working like heavy city. A little bit more that way is the Grand Rapids, and that, man, you got driveways that's like made for Model A's to fit down, and then I've been there, man. It's like you got to park on the road, and then like they got a hill. The driveway's like a hill, so you're just like huffing and puffing to get up there. It's not fun, And then they're like, you can park up here. I'm like, I am not backing this enclosed trailer or this truck. This truck will get stuck. It'll be like something in the cartoons. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh no, it's fine. And you're just like dying on a hot summer day. Got to make sure you bring refreshments. I've had that before. I came really close to passing out on a ladder. I was working so hard. That was kind of a wake-up call. That was kind of like, yeah, you know what? Like, probably need to slow down a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of funny because Tanner, on those light bulbs, I think Rich uses them, Rich B. Papa Tony, you, and then myself. So that's why I do them, because I'm like, I trust you guys. You know what I mean? And I'm like, nobody's had problems with them. And like I said, Lowe's, I wasn't having a problem with the Lowe's at any time that I know of, but they changed the packaging. And all of a sudden it was like, I went in one day and I'm like, I'm like, whoa, I'm like, something looks different. I'm like, can I trust you? No, can I trust you? Like, really, can I trust you? Because I don't know if I trust you. Did something change? I don't like when they change the packaging. I don't like changes. You know what I mean? Because then that'll be when we start installing. They'll be the one that's farther away. And the customer would be like, it's not working. And be like, uh-oh, what's going on? And then another phone call coming, and then another phone call, and then another phone call coming. Oh, no, they're all coming at the same time. What changed? The packaging. But they're the same light bulb. Bull crap, something changed. Was sealed, needed to be caulked still, but it's too cold for that today. How do you caulk the metal weather seal? Like, I wonder. Like, I can see regular weather seal, but like the thinner, if it's just metal, like with a flange, like how do you caulk that? It is so weird. Like I said, I know Rusty does it. I don't know if anybody else has ever, like maybe like Tanner can. I've never had anybody call me out on it. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had anybody be like, you think you should caulk this? Or do you think like, you know, I mean, I'm not saying it's not bad, but I also think it's something that, you know, unless you're using like a premium caulk, because I know I got some in my old kitchen that was like, it would shrink. And I was like, I think the damn cupboards are falling. And so like, to me, it's like another variable. And then it's another thing like, well, right here, right? What did Evan? He says, the weather seal need to caulk still, but it's too cold for that today. So now you got another trip. So instead of being out on another job making money, you're going back to another job losing, you know, or, you know, costing more money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's taken out of your profit. And that's when you also have to leave in like typically you know, a service call. Like I'm always in my head going, we're probably gonna have one service call back. We hope not, but that's a possibility. But I don't know. I think for us, it'd be a mess. It just would be a mess. And like I said, if you don't have your doors, you know, I remember it's like the one guy, right? The guy that's a big competition. He's got like 6 locations around here. I was talking to that one day, and he goes, we were at a seminar or something. We're at some like financial investing group or something. And he was sitting there, we're all dolled up and stuff, eating dinner, and some guy taking all our money. And he was saying something about, we were talking about garage doors and stuff, and he goes, think about it, Dave. He goes, people get so hyped up, you know, about the R value. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you know, but he goes, think about what the door is. He goes, and then you got a piece of rubber. He says, that's all you have on the sides. He's like, and then, so if the rubber's not sealed up, and then he says you got the cracks in the door, he says, you're going to lose heat. You know what I mean? Like, it's a given. That's just the way it is. It's not a sealed up wall. You're not going to get, you know, R whatever 54 out of it or whatever, like you can out of a ceiling. And I was like, yeah, it kind of does make sense. So it's funny to me because like we've had some customers, you know, like they do the insulated doors and it's like the concrete's off or something. And it's like, yeah, like that insulated door is going to do some wonders. Like, you got to definitely got to get the draft, which, like I said, if you caulk, I guess, obviously, because I did have one, but then my brain goes to like you should go 2 inches wider, then you can't see it. And then you should do clip mount seal and perimeter seal. Then it's double sealed, header seal. You know, I don't know. Just truck trailer, whole lot of packing a whole lot of stuff around. Nice. That works out good. Was it all paved or was it like new construction, like sand, no approach? And then you got you know, like they got concrete inside. Oh yeah. And then you got to walk in the sand. I hate walking in the sand. I don't even like walking on the beach. I like sitting at the beach and drinking, and I like looking, you know what I mean? But I don't like walking in it. Never fails. Always get where you're going to be. You think you're all good. And the wife's like, can you go back to the car? And you're like, God dang it. And you're like, that sand is hot. And then it's like when you walk, you just don't get nowhere. You're just waddling like a little baby. Yeah, use the best kind of the customer supplies. Yeah, like I said, we've had too many problems with that. Like I said, I was really happy that Caleb, because what I just tell, I don't know, he said something the other day about him, and then, you know, and that's just, and honestly, you know what? I mean, honestly, Rusty, I can't even believe you don't supply the light bulbs. I got to give you some crap on that. You know what I mean? You charge these high prices, you get the good prices, right? You caulk, right? You go the extra, oh, I forgot to pay my light bill. You go the extra mile, and then we don't provide light bulbs? Why don't you be a crook, and why don't you take the batteries out of the remotes too? You know what I mean? Tell them, say, you get your own damn batteries for the remotes. There you go. Yeah. And don't put the pull cord on either. That's, I don't know. Like I said, I guess that's why tomato, you know what I mean? But I'd rather do light bulbs, because, oh boy, I've never had a phone call ever. I've had weather seal fall down. I've had that happen, so that's why I put plenty of nails in it. They'll call about that, but I've never had one call me about caulk or, I'm trying to think. I remember there was one, but it rattled. The door was rattling. That was her complaint, but she would go out there and smoke. And so she'd watch that door like a hawk. And it wasn't even her place. She was renting, or she was a tenant at that place. That one was a goofy one. But like I said, the damn light bulbs, oh boy, I've gotten my light bulb shares. Almost should go through the darn packages again and throw light bulbs in all of them and tape them back up, because I got so stinking sick of light bulbs. It's like when you hit a weird wave of when you get bad checks. You know what I mean? It's like you're just like so over it. You're like, I'll do whatever I got to do to make this never happen again. I don't want to hear about these damn things ever again. Mainly just stick to residential stuff. Not experienced enough in commercial yet. Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, kind of stay in your lane. It takes time. Like I said, for me, it took a year, just to kind of understand. It took me 5 years to feel like I was like, yeah, I'm kind of the man. And then everything else is you're still learning. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was struggling. That's why I called Cap the other day, because I was like, I don't know why the LiftMaster. So he says it's either RPM sensor, it's either a wall button, or he says the door is heavy. And I said, the door is not heavy. I said, we put one turn on the spring out of 4 springs. And I said, it's running really good. So that's definitely not it. But they're having this intermittent where it go up like a foot. The only thing I was wondering is possibly I did have Caleb spray the limit nuts where they ride. Maybe he got too zealous with it. Maybe he got some on the RPM sensor. So I was wondering if I could use like map sensor or map cleaner like you do for your car. And that would be more like better, like wouldn't hurt the electronics to clean. Because I've never really cleaned them, even with residential. I've tried blowing on them and stuff like that. But I just thought maybe if we did a little spray, maybe that would help the RPM. So I'm not quite sure. But the thing is, the one door there, they were already having problems, and we never even touched the door yet. That was just something they've been dealing with. And so when I seen it happen, I was like, man, it was like a 4 setting. I was like, see, the old Oscos used to have a clutch, and if the clutch wasn't tight enough, it would spin on the roll pin, and it would hit a switch. And so that's what my brain kept thinking, like, what would make a LiftMaster stop? Like, I was like, I don't think there is anything. I've heard them jump teeth and all that, but it's not doing that. It's just going up a foot or two, it stops. It goes up another foot or two, it stops. And then what's going on? Then it works again. It's like some weird intermittent goofiness. Oh, heck yeah, man. I'm telling you, Rusty. Start putting in light bulbs. You'll have customers happy you put in light bulbs too. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like I said, if I'd be happy too if the guy changing my oil actually greased my Zerks. You know what I mean? I'd be happy, especially for the same price. You know, I'd be like, yeah, dude, like that's part of the service. You should be doing that. You know what I mean? Like, congratulations. I see a little grease on there finally, but most of the time they don't. You know, and that's just what what we come to expect. You know. Only commercial I do is small locations that use registered door openers. Yeah, normally, like what my theory's been is if you stick with, they don't have dock plates. Seems like you have, at least in our general, we have pretty good luck if they don't have dock plates. If they got dock plates, I don't like dock plates. I just don't. I feel like it's dealing with knucklehead employees that are working there, you know what I mean, on forklifts. Um, Depending on what the dock plates conditions are, I've had some that like they don't latch right, so like it'll dump on you, you know, when you're running your scissor lift over. Uh, it's normally it'll be a trucking place where they got just trucks coming in and out, and they act like, you know, they got 20 some doors, and they're just always like, we need this bay, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, and it's like, of course you do. There's just a lot of, you know, you normally got to park, you know, farther away. That's why I got the carts on the wheels, because you got to bring all your stuff in. You know, sometimes like municipalities or truck places, or I don't know what else is there. There's all kinds of little stuff that's got one or two, you know. Mechanic shops are tough too. Mechanics, car washes, I'd absolutely stay away from car washes if it was me, because car wash is totally different animal. You got to have stainless steel, you got to have the sealed nylon bearings, you got to have the stainless steel cable, you got to have the brass fittings, you got to have the right hinges depending on what kind of stuff. They never want you to shut down unless it's a rainy day, and I've even shut down on rainy days and they're still chewing my ass, you know, what do you shut the bay down for? And I'm like, it's raining now. I'm like, you know, it's a heavy rain, like it's medium. And they're like, we still got cars, you know, and you get some knucklehead, of course, one or two that would still pull up, and they see them in the camera, and they're like, we lost that customer. And so then you start doing the crap at night. Then you start realizing you're losing like your whole life, you know what I mean? Because you're doing the stuff at night, and then they don't want to pay the extra for like overtime or after hours. So, you know, they're just kind of, I'm not a big fan, you know. And then you got to deal with the machinery. You can't bring a lift in there. You got to, you know, you got to learn how to move the machinery. Everything takes longer. Everything's corroded. You got to have like different grease for everything, like fluid film, and just spraying everything. Oh, got unnoticed by most, but it helps completely sealed opening. Oh, yeah, I'm sure, man. Like I said, I got some that needs to be sealed myself. But like I said, we've never gotten, if we got called out about it from customers, then we would definitely do it. But I've never had one customer, not even the technicians, nothing. You know what I mean? And like I said, but our demographics totally different. Ours is price driven. You know what I mean? Everything is very price driven. You know, I was watching a guy with tires, you know, and he was telling me, I went and bought Walmart tires, you know, because they were like, how much were they? It was like $400 or $600 cheaper than the other company. And then what was funny about it is I was thinking, he said the problem is that if the tires are over, I think it was 3 or 5 years old, I think where he was at, might have been Pennsylvania, I don't even know. He was saying that they deem they're bad anyways, and he goes, I don't put enough miles on my vehicle. And I thought, well, geez, yeah, I would put cheaper tires on too, you know what I mean? But anyways, I was driving around today, and I was thinking about how, like, you know, it's like so weird for me, because like when I look at stuff, like, you know, price is price, man. Like a deck is a deck. I mean, it can do some craftsmanship, and I mean, a good install does help, right? But it's just kind of, it's product, you know what I mean? Like, we're just product installers, and then the product's getting crappier to some degree on some of the stuff. So we got to work with crappier product, which sucks, because then we got to warranty it. I heard kiddo or something, but yeah, great, looks good for the first week or two, but here in Iowa, all the gravel, black. Oh yeah. Use clear, white, and brown, black caulk. He says will look like hell in a few weeks. Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like the caulk at my at the shop, right? I mean, it's just disgusting. I did it to keep all the dirt out, and it's gross. I mean, it's just gross. The PVC for the trim stayed good, but I never thought about that. That is true. That is true. And for us, I just know how this would work. It would be another variable that if the caulk started going bad or started whatever, I can just hear some grandma calling us and going, you know, the caulk installed, it's starting to look like it's peeling away. I don't know if I should have somebody come over here. You know, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's fine. You know, so I'm not saying, like I said, you know, we just don't ever get it. Have you guys seen tilt doors? What have showing off on Instagram? I think I have seen some of them. What do you think about them? You like them? Caulk it as long as the door is ordered correctly. You overlap the jambs. Yep, then nail it good. Run into companies who don't. Yeah. Like I said, I've had one. Like I said, I've ordered it 2 inches wider because I wanted to pass jam because I could hear them talking about like, well, I want it really sealed up and this and that. And I thought, well, I'm going to give the illusion that even the jam will be passed so they don't see that crack if the door's in by the weather seal. It'll look, you know, it'll be a jog and they won't see the light. So every situation, you know, is different, you know, and, you know, like I said, there's really no right or wrong. I mean, it's just like we do light bulbs and hey, Rusty does caulk. That's fine. It's just for me, like I said, if you have to deal with those variables, and that would be the last thing because I'd have to sit there and let my truck run or whatever probably to deal with to warm it up. And then it just doesn't, I'm trying to think of something else that would be kind of similar. You know, we're not dealing with bathtubs. I don't know. It's not that. I mean, I'm thinking what siding guys, they don't caulk that I know of, do they? Garage, well, door guys, they do. Windows do, right? Or I'm talking man doors. So I mean, you know what I mean. But like I said, I never once just seal falling off, and that's why I nail the shit out of it. And then I've had it where do that. I never had anybody complain about the nails either. You know what I mean? Never, you know, that looks like quite a bit of nails, you know. Nope. Never had a problem with nails. Besides the hand bangers. I do not like. Caleb just experienced that. He just smashed one because it was cold. And it was brown. And of course that was a long distance loser. And I get there and he's like, had a little boo-boo. I'm like, dang. I'm like, cracked it right down the center. It didn't explode yet, but it was just like, well, just gonna have to leave it. Luckily the jams weren't the prettiest, so, but don't have brown, not hollow brown, so probably should have brought extra, but got overlap jam. Now good after that. $100 put in your bathroom. I don't know, but I tell you what, that'd be a step up if they did. I would definitely compliment them. You know, but like I said, for me it was my thing always that clicked in my head where I always thought, you know, I could imagine like if I had a home theater system, or let's say maybe like I think of like a security system or something, and or like, you know, I get the security system done and then they like don't have access to it, or I don't have like they don't give me they give me the remote but there's no batteries in it. That's what it was. And honestly, I would have never even considered light bulbs, but the problem is this day and age, I don't trust the customer. And then I can't tell you how many times I've been on a ladder, I'm just getting done, I'm thinking about dinner, I'm thinking about hanging out with my kids, I'm thinking about going home and kissing my wife, and I'm like, And I'm like, you got any light bulbs? And then it's like an older person, sometimes it's a younger person, right? And they're like they just kind of freeze, and they're just like, oh, yeah, yeah, let me go look. And then they come out, and they always got like 2 damn different light bulbs. Well, I got this one from my ceiling light in my kitchen, and this one's from my bedroom lamp. And I'm like, oh. And then it's like, especially if it's got dual lights, I put them in, and they're always like they're a different shade, and I'm like, that looks like crap. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, then my other wheel is going, how long are these going to last? Now that I touched them, now that we took them out, how long have they been in use? You know, and all I'm looking for, this is my theory. This is my theory. I'm looking for a year. Anything out a year, kiss off. Don't care. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be that way. But Eric hasn't built us some openers yet that I can buy for $5,000 a piece for the residential that have options. I don't have no damn options. So I have to deal with this crap they provide. And yeah, so I'm just looking at it. I'm going to, you know what I mean? If the car manufacturers are doing it, and you all, including myself or in the general public in America are buying this garbage, then garbage in, garbage out. You know what I mean? So be it. It just is what it is. You get a year. Makes it over a year. Oh, it's a year and a month old. Oh, shucks. Well, here's your options. We can try to repair this, and it could be $500, $600, $1,200. Or we could just install a new one for $600 or $1,200. What's it going to be? You know? Well, geez, I didn't. Yep. Welcome to America. You know? Because nobody knows how to repair nothing. Nobody votes with their wallet and buys the good stuff. Everybody wants cheap, cheap, cheap. That's why China owns us. You know what I mean? That's why they're talking about the cars. They're going to probably start maybe bringing those cars over. Why can't we get cheap cars? Why can't America make cheap cars? Why can we not? Why can we not make windows and cranks? Oh, no, we can't have that. No, we got to sell them the $60,000, $80,000, $120,000 vehicles. Why can't we make good, reliable V8s? Can you believe we got rid of the V8s for a while there? That little spat. What a bunch of horse crap that was. But the manufacturer's doing the same thing. Like I said, when I was looking at the LiftMaster page, I just wanted to stick my finger down my throat and vomit. You know what I mean? All I seen was LEDs. All they got cameras in them. And all I kept sitting there going is I go, you guys all make a piece of shit garbage opener. And I go, you can't even make the damn thing function. Forget the bells and whistles. I live in Michigan. I need stuff that goes up and down, that's reliable, that would be really, 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 really great if we could at least get about 5 or 10 years. But that's a stretch nowadays. That's a stretch. That's a stretch. You know, so like I said, we got the one opener, was 2-3 years old, wall button's bad. You know, got the other one, now they got an LED problem, you know. But don't you worry. Yeah, you know, but that's all right. We can just go around all day and do warranty work. It's okay. Make no money. Whether seal their doors quickly, it's too far out, tear old off, but to put the new on, caulk is 1/4 to 1/2 inch out. It's a double-edged sword. Yeah. I mean, shoot, like I said, man. You know, I mean, it's no big. You know, like I said, people want to do it, man. It's just like I said, I've just learned over the years. I couldn't believe. I still remember this one. That's what really ticked me off. That this customer had the audacity. Like I said, I've told this a little bit before, right? This was up in Newaygo, Michigan. It's about a 45-minute, hour, drive. Like I said, we're doing it for Lowe's. I was there at one point. I don't know if I was the install or did the detail, but this dude was like a foot taller than me, a foot. So what am I? I'm like 5'9". He was like, whatever, 6'9" or something. I mean, he was a tall dude, man. He had little garage doors, little 7'5". I could damn near touch him. And I remember they did the install. And all of a sudden, Lowe's calls us about these stupid light bulbs. And I was like, are you kidding me? And Lowe's would not, and then Lowe's comes in there like, we'll provide the light bulbs. I was like, screw the freaking light bulbs. I was like, it's the freaking drive and to pay a god darn technician. You know what I mean? Like to go up there to install. I'm like, can we just like, can you guys go over there or give them to him? Can he come to the store and get them? Like I'll even pay for them. And no, he wants them installed. And I'm like, oh my God, bless America. And so we had to send a freaking technician up there. Oh, so for some stupid light bulbs, they don't even provide them. They don't even provide them. But this time Lowe's would provide them. I was like, this is so stupid. Almost can't caulk their trim. If I had a choice, which builder would do, I'd choose caulking. Well, see, like for me, this dude was totally capable. He's a foot taller than me. Then the old lady that I went to, you know, she was, let's just say she was obese and she was old. And she called me and she's like, this already installed, there's something wrong with it. And I tell you what, like, when you're the person that's answering the phone all the time and you're running a business from like scratch, like that wasn't fun, man. That was not fun. I mean, this lady's right down the road. It's no big deal, right? No big deal. But I'm like, do you have like a grandson? She's like, I don't got a grandson. And she's like, I ain't climbing no damn ladder. And what it is for me, it's like I said, when you're doing this and you're for me in the business, I've been engulfed. I mean, I'm talking 12, 17-hour days. Like Monday, there is no Sunday for church. That's how bad it is. You know what I'm saying? Like you are dying, you are screaming for every freaking minute because you're just so loaded up with jobs. And then when you got to go back because of these stupid little things, like you do whatever it takes to eliminate these phone calls. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't want to ever hear about a light bulb again. Like I don't. I really don't. I got so irritated with light bulbs, but that's because we're pumping out so many doors and so many openers that it's like, you know, it's, you know, the more you touch, the more problems you have. You know what I mean? I mean, you hope not, but that's the reality of how it works. So that's also why if you can stay, you know, the 5 mile famous, it's way better because then you're just zippy, zip, 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 zip. You know what I mean? Versus 45 minutes, an hour, 2-hour drive for some stupid light bulbs. So, but like I said, you know, that's what you would think, right? But that's what they always tell you, just like when you're doing marketing or you're collecting payment, right? You can't think like yourself. You have to be abroad. You have to think like a consumer, and the consumer, they all look at stuff different. You know, it's just like that whole thing, right? Like if I say dog, you're not thinking the same dog I'm thinking. Or if I look at a door, I might go, that's kind of ugly, or that is, you know, and you might go, that's kind of nice. I think it's pretty, or I think it's elegant or whatever. So you know what I mean? So to me, for the couple dollars, it's just not worth the headache. You know what I mean? It's just not worth the headache. It's just, they're fresh, they're installed, they look good. I had a guy one time, remember, he called and he's like, I thought you installed something good. And I'm like, we did. I was like, we installed a LiftMaster. You don't get no better than that. And he's like, this light's not working. And I'm like, well, that's not because the opener's junk. But I mean, in his mind, he's thinking that. It's like, you know, I guess it'd be, maybe you install like a furnace or something. And maybe the thermostat doesn't light up anymore, right? The background. And you go there at nighttime, you know, and it's easy for the installer to go, well, then just don't go there at nighttime, you know. And he's like, but I get up in the night and I pee, and I like to turn the heat up when I go pee. So in the morning when I get my coffee, the furnace is running, it's warm. You know, everybody has different things, right? But that's been my biggest, the light bulbs. Some who throw fit. So years ago, I decided we just provide them and don't want to put them in an opener for sweet old lady, and then have to, tell her, she needs to get up there, call someone else, to put a, exactly, lamp. Does not come with a bulb, one unless to get called about. We actually have, I'm assuming this is rule we call light bulb rule, because This lady threw a huge fit over new construction install, and we did not put in bulbs. She was all worked up. That's what I'm saying. It's not worth it. It's a couple bucks. And they're brand new, and they're the right ones, so hopefully they don't interfere versus them putting something in. So I'm with you. I'm with you on the light bulb situation. Like I said, it's you would think that, but it's just, you know. And then could you imagine, like, if a kid had to come over, like a son, like, I'd be ticked if I had to go over somewhere and my mom's like, "Can you come over?" And I'm like, "God darn it, Mom, I'm working my hiney off. What do you want?" And she's like, I'm like, "I don't know when I'll get over." And she's like, "Well, yeah, I'd like a light bulb so when I pull in at night, you know, like I can see where when I'm getting out of the car." You know, and I'd be over there, I'd be cussing. I'd be like, "That's stinking guy." Then by the time I find out how much he charged, I'd be like, "How much did he charge?" Like, "Who went to the store and bought it for $200? Like, guy's freaking ripoff." You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just opens up the door. That's my opinion. So we don't mess around with anymore. Like I said, hopefully they all get light bulbs, you know. And I've taken some out of the opener. I mean, I still occasionally, if I don't have bulbs with me, I will cheat, but I'm also not gonna try to make a trip, you know. I mean, and sometimes you win, but then there's like that 10%. Sometimes you lose, and the lose are the ones that are normally, like Tanner, they run the biggest fit there is. You know what I mean? Just whining and crying, and it's like, my gosh, for a couple bucks, you know what I mean? It's just like there. What was it? Was it the ATS? I think it was the ATS. You know, the ATS never came with remotes. And I can't tell you, we just had one. What did we just tore something apart. And it dawned on me that it wasn't, I was like, something we opened. I can't remember what box it was, if it was a Genie or what it was. It came with one remote. And even when the guy opened it in front of me, he goes, it only comes with one remote. And I, you know, my first instinct, I was like, what? I was like, my brain just went to, where the hell's the second remote? Who stole it? Damn manufacturer didn't give it to us. You know what I mean? Or somebody was in this box. And I was like, well, these are a certain kind of opener. They probably only send one remote. But I can't tell you how many times I've been to a customer and they are programmed, right? It's like a TV, right? You couldn't buy a TV nowadays. Well, I guess we are getting to the age now, right? Because people are just retarded. But we are getting to the age now that they probably aren't going to give you a remote anymore. It's just like with no keypad, right? We're just going to use our phones. So, you know what I mean? But I couldn't imagine buying a TV or having a TV installed, and then I'd be like, "Yo, babe, like, where's the remote?" "It didn't come with one." What the hell? TV doesn't come with a freaking remote. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, so it's just such a program where it's like, I got so sick of, like, everything just is 2 remotes and a keypad. Everything. I don't care if it's 1 door, 4 doors. You know what I mean? The price is that. That's the price. That's the price. They're paying for it. I don't care if they don't want them. They want to give them back or whatever. That's the price, baby. That's what you're getting. You know what I mean? And that way it just covers everything abroad. If a customer comes and purchases one, if a subcontractor does it, if a technician goes out and installs one, I don't want to ever hear, you know, somebody talking about, well, you know, it only came with one remote. Bull crap. Not on my watch. You know, so you're getting 2 remotes and a keypad. I don't care what you do with it. Sell it on eBay. Throw it in the garbage. I don't care. Oh, and don't forget the light bulbs. You're getting light bulbs. We don't need light bulbs with his openers. Yeah, Rusty does a lot of jack shafts too, which I was kind of thinking, what was I thinking the other day about that? Because I'm assuming he still needs light bulbs unless they're doing an LED setup on those jack shafts. And I was like, oh, because we were dealing with the rails, and I was like, darn, Rusty. I was like, he's doing those jack shafts. I was like, and then of course I came across the price again, and I was like, nope. I was like, they cost more. Like, they're like $200-300 more. It's like, and I'm just not a big, like I said, in our area, in our climate and stuff, you just can't beat a trolley. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, those, whatever, they cost more. What what did I have? Somebody, oh, that's right. Caleb was having problems with one. That was a Genie though. He's like, I don't even know if they hooked the disconnect up. He's like, I don't even know where the disconnect is. It was a little more complicated. Obviously he'll get it, but then he had hooked the shaft to it. No, like I said, but anyways, so you got to deal with, I was thinking, well, lucky booger, you don't have to deal with the belts. You don't have to deal with the chain. You just have an opener, you know what I mean? A jack shaft, and you don't have to worry about that. Where like I got an 8-foot extension. You know, I had one of the guys call. He's like, hey, he's like, do we have an 8-foot rail? And I'm thinking, honestly, it's just going to be cheaper to buy a box store and throw I don't know why, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Every time I look at LiftMaster's selection, like I said, I just want to, I have a hard time installing. I know these LEDs are going to fail. I just know it. I just know it. Genie used to brag about how long their light bulbs last. They didn't last. They last half of what they used to. And I do not want to go around dealing with all these stinking LED problems and have to go to the customer and be going like, yeah, it's going to be, you know, $400, $600, $800 to change your LED. And they're like, what? Like, I know. And, you know, you know, if I had a regular light bulb, you could have done it, you know, but now it's got an LED. Hey, you got to call a professional. I just don't feel like that's like stuff. I got bigger fish to fry than that stuff in my life. You know what I mean? I'd rather do preventative maintenance on their door or for build or for the commercial than to deal with a light bulb. And they go, you know, because that's why we got our stickers on the door too, because that'll be when they, you guys just installed this, and you're looking at the tag and you're like, it's 2.5 years old, sir or ma'am. And they're like, but don't you think it should have lasted longer? And now I got to do the mind game. Does LiftMaster cover this? Like, does anybody know how long LiftMaster covers the LED light bulb on their unit? Is it a 5-year or 1 year? Or, you know? One lady is enough, yeah. As customers who afford light bulbs and keep them in their house. So I want to ask for them. Yeah, we don't have that kind of luxury. We deal with new construction. We deal with revamps. We deal with rentals. You know, they don't got that kind of stuff. Not always. That's like telling them, you know, like, hey, you got a garage door rail in there? You know, they'd be like, no. Don't use plastic bearing on car wash. I mean, for the center, I mean, they got metal bearings on the ends, so sometimes you just, you know, what I'm getting at is the car wash is you can get roped into like I was. And so I guess, so like this is how I kind of look at it now. If I was back in the day on this, I'd be more focused on the system, right? The system is what's really important. You know, how's your phone being answered? Who are you going to hire? Who's, you know, like it's kind of like in a nutshell, you know, like you want to get out of the truck as fast as you can. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what you're looking for. And then, so like for me with the car wash, there was nobody else that could do it in the business because nobody was going to do it after hours. And then every time I sent somebody else, they wouldn't plug the opener back in, and they were too far away. They were too long distance. It was too much of a problem. Then I realized this customer's got to go. You know what I mean? Like we're not even charging full like hours. Like as soon as we leave the shop, we're charging for it, baby. And I've heard that over the years, we've gotten a lot of customers just in our area that quit using like overhead garage door, because they would always complain. That was their thing. Well, you know, they charge us and they're an hour away, hour and a half away, so they charge us just for coming out, you know. And it's like, you know, and I was always kind of like, yeah, it's like, you know, that's not really right, you know. Now I look at it and I go, no, that is right. You're on the clock, you know, it's time, it's gas, it's, you know, if you don't want to make money, you know, it's easier to sit on your couch. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than to buy these trucks and insurance and the tires and the gas and all this other stuff. So yeah, you need to be charging, you know what I mean? So, but like I said, it was too much. It was getting to be too much. You know, the stuff was getting to be cheddar cheese. I'd always keep recommending certain things, but I can pretty much fix anything. You know what I mean? So I can make the stuff keep working, and then every time I'd make it work, it was like they just keep using it for another month or three, and then it'd break again, and then we'd fix another thing, and then it would be, instead of replacing, and they needed better stuff, and it just wasn't happening. I had a heated garage, so once we got the sections, ooh, wasn't too terrible. Nice. That was nice to have some heat. One contractor who wants us to hand nail because he says matches better than the silver pin nailer. Even though after 1-2 hits of the, yeah, it looks like, yeah, I know. I'm with you, Tanner. I tried the hand banging, man. I even bought the nice ones, and no matter what I did, it was like the head would get, either your hammers got nasty stuff on it or whatever, or I would chip the paint right off the damn thing. And I was just like, I was like, so you mean to tell me that looks better than just having a trim? Like, well, why don't we just hand bang our trim in the house too and leave heads exposed? No, you don't do that. You nail it, and then if anything, you would caulk them, whatever, and get rid of those, so it all looks. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I never. If everything is garbage, then quality will start to matter more. Well, I guess, what my theory is if you drive a Chevy 6.2 that's got a bad motor, that's what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't build the motor. Doesn't matter how you drive. Doesn't matter how good you changed oil. It's a bad motor. And so the product that they're giving us, the fact that they're forcing these LEDs down our throats, you know what I mean? Like, we have no choice. So unless, which a lot of people aren't, you know what I mean? Like, there's a ton of people that are not going to go off LiftMaster. They're just, that's their baby, or that's their vendor. And until they either start having so many problems and they realize, which I realized a long time ago, to be diversified. And so I'm glad, because I was thinking like, what was it? I was thinking about, like, could you imagine if you're a dealer, like a Ford dealer or a Chevy dealer, and then you got to deal with all these problems? You know what I mean? Could you imagine you got to sell this car to some guy and he's like, is this got that known motor problem? Is this got a 6.2 in it? No. Well, I mean, it does, but it's fine. You will have no, I'm sure they got that fixed. I'm sure. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? And then the guy comes back 6 months, whatever, and he's ticked because he was going on a trip and he only gets one trip a year, and his mother was dying or whatever, and they were heading to Colorado or wherever, and the damn thing blew up, and you told me this thing was fixed. I mean, that's the reality of stuff. You know what I mean? Where, why are we having these wall button problems? You know what I mean? Never had wall button problems before. And so now we're having these wall button problems. Why is it that these these LiftMasters are from 2018, and there's 3 or 4 units that do this weird foot thing that have this issue, but yet we have installed hundreds and hundreds of Genies and we never go back to the Genie commercials. You know what I mean? Like, never. Maybe a photo I get smashed or something, but like, they have hardly any problems. No circuit boards, no weird glitches. If they do have a brownout, they'll tell you they have a brownout. So I don't know. I just hate Ghost. I do not like Ghost. What's up, Eric? Put a couple 3 in, so we'll see how they work. Bang for your buck. Ooh, best bang. 22. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. So far, I've had good luck with the 3.0. Nice. Definitely improve free use generation, but I still don't trust the product. Yeah, I still stick with Genie. I know. Time for church. Have good luck at church. Eric, what does this say? So far, I'm not impressed with the 1055s installed when I had Swap the head a day later. Ooh. Yeah, if you got to watch there's certain models. It's kind of like the 2028. It's kind of, they work. They're a cheaper opener. But if you get into like the, what is that, 4034 or something like that, and sometimes they can have the red light of death. For me, when I installed those ATWs, I was able to reuse old remotes. Yeah, good luck with that with this new stuff. It's all Bluetooth or whatever, right? Those ATW openers always got me when I was going out on my own with remotes. He says now I got 15, 20 of them in the truck, but man, yeah. Just bought a new phone yesterday. Did it come with a charger block? Only a cord. Yep. I have had that. We just had that not too long ago. Didn't come with the cube or whatever to plug in the wall. Bull crap. But that's what they're doing, man. They're you know what I mean? They're charging higher prices and we just eat the shit. You know what I mean? We're just the peasants, man. You know what I mean? And we just keep eating the crap. You know what I mean? Like I really was thinking about this theory, and I don't know, it is what it is. My wife was saying something about it though, and she's like, she was telling me, she's like, people that drive older vehicles, she's like, they got to be a hell of a mechanic. And I was like, why is that? And she goes, to keep that thing on the road and keep it, serviced. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, but it's hard. I said, because, with Michigan, I said, they get rotted away unless you do the, the oil coat and stuff on them. And it's tough. I get it. You know what I mean? I kind of got sucked back in, right? Got back into the vortex, right? And it's like, I'm putting way more wear and tear on this truck than I normally do. Normally I drive like an old little grandpa. Now it's like NASCAR. Oh, I gotta get there. Oh, there's a light. There's a brake. Oh, I got weight in it. Everything else. You're putting a lot more, you know what I mean? And there's only 8 hours in the day for this company to be open. We got to make it, so it's tough. I can see why you get roped into, like myself. It's like, normally the truck works fine. I did a little adjustment on it. It's working good again. But it's, as soon as it'll be next week or something, it'll be run here, run there, run this. And it's like, oh man, it's like poor little truck. Don't know if she could do it. She's got 220 on her now. She's getting up there. Also didn't come with earbuds. Yeah, earbuds, that's true. LiftMaster jack shit comes with LED light. Imagine that. Wonder how long they're gonna last. Wonder what their warranty is on them. I'm pretty sure the original 85s are discontinued now. Oh yeah, I'm sure of that. What's to say the jack shaft commercial need to come with longer pull release ropes. Oh, and chains. I know whatever we did, we ordered them through Clopay, and that was a commercial though. And they like said that the whatever you call it, the disconnect, the chain fall was way too short. And then we had to use Genie chain on a LiftMaster. And then we had obviously the chain, but that seems like it's kind of a common issue. So normally you just try to stock some of it, but it's still kind of irritating that you just wish you had the right stuff. But yeah, I can imagine on the Resis and stuff too. Come with. I used to take pride. You don't lose no more money. Well, if I go, guys, I go. Hopefully, we'll see here. Oh yeah, it's definitely way better. Like I said, to be more profitable. Absolutely, you know what I mean. All right. Well, I'm just saying, but you know what I mean. Like, it took like when we did that Clopay, the center styles were off. We had to drill them. It wasn't the end of the world. We self-drilled them. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like with product, I had Wayne Dalton. The holes are way off. So it's just we're what I mean. We're getting crappier product. Yet we have to turn into better craftsmen, which takes more time, more energy. unless you're dealing with like, I know like Tanner's gone through this. Tanner's got, he's dealt with different manufacturers and he's tuned into what he likes. And that could always change. It might be next year something changes with them. They get bought out or whatever, and he's like, man, the quality, I got to find something better because I think it's definitely different when you got employees. Like you need everything to be very synchronized. Like you need to know, like you're like, what do you mean you got a problem, dude? I've been installing these for 3 years. I never had one problem that you're talking about. And they're like, I don't know, man, but this is an issue. You're like, what? And you got to go out there and take a look at it. All right, I'm sending you a picture. And there is a reason it's cheaper. Copic guys. Just proves that good door doesn't make up for bad installer. Try and call Clopay next week and see my brother's company sees the type of work they do. I don't know, man. That's crazy. Help my case. Yeah, I think it just depends. I've heard some people say like AMAR, they like AMAR, but like our AMAR sucked at the time. They might have changed. I know they changed the product and stuff. It might have changed. You know what I mean? And that's it. We're just not there to give it another try. Hold on a second. I'm back. I'm back. Case Evans says I don't mind. Clopay was sold to Homes something 8s. And wasn't as good for drilled holes lined up, and both doors and bottom brackets were, she says, to be clipped in. Yeah, I mean, my big thing was Wayne Dalton with the bottom seal. Most of them I can live with. They're not too bad. Clopay's never gotten me too bad. Wayne Dalton, though, the bottom seal really gets me. That's very irritating. Had to put bottom seal on. But like I said, this one, when we did both those doors, we put the hinges on. They'd be, a good quarter, half an inch off. And it was like, shoo. So we had a drill. It wasn't the end of the world. It's just, but you got to sit there and think about it. And it's like, now it's like, why are these off? And we'd go end to end, to make sure it was not shifted. Nothing major. But then it was like when we ordered the door and the opener, it was like, where's, I know they don't send spreader bars, but it was just, that was off. No spreader bar. They don't give you collars, which I don't expect them to. That's something I do. But otherwise it worked. Duplex seemed a little overkill, but brackets and everything, they worked. 1.25 inch wasn't expected, but it worked. Did the job. Wasn't damaged. The delivery guy is awesome, which is really nice. The delivery guy is a really nice guy. Super upbeat. Some of pre-drills don't line up, and yeah, not all of them. Midland, 8 years, you just love them. They were the best out there. Now they went downhill fast. Yeah, it happens. You know what I mean? That's why, there's certain things I love about Wayne Dalton. I love their Torque Master sometimes for certain situations, low headroom, where I can still get a trolley opener in there, but like that bottom seal, I love the total packs, especially with employees. They were like 2 boxes, everything was just in there. You just slip on the back of a truck or a van. It was clean, it was protected, it was wholesome, it was easy to manage in the shop instead of digging out track and all this other crap. Finding the torsion tube. They did not send us a torsion tube. It was like, you just put those 2 packages in there and everything's in there, buddy, besides the weather seal. Sometimes they didn't put a weather seal in there. But that darn bottom seal, when you came to those certain models that they didn't install it, ooh, man, that was like enough for me. And when they got me for not flag brackets, they used to be notorious for not doing flag brackets. Oh, that was bad. Somebody's unlocking their car. Might have a little company. Midland. Get Midland here, but I've never actually come across any. Okay. Well, and that stuff all changes. Like I said, it took me a long time to learn. And I don't see any, unless you're going to try to get like the rebates and all that kind of stuff. But that's just, they want to kind of suck you in, to their product and 100% their product and blah, blah, blah. I really enjoy having diversity because, like I said, we called, I think it was Clopay versus, gosh, who was the other manufacturer? I think it was Wayne Dalton. It was on those bigger, those 23 by 16 doors. It was a $3,000 difference. A $3,000 difference. That's a lot. These are just not insulated doors, man. You know what I mean? So there you go again. You know what I mean? Price. You know what I mean? So it was like, well, Clopay's getting this one, $3,000. Heck yeah, man. That goes right in the old pocketbook. So it's nice to have that because it doesn't always work that way. You know, we got, what is it, Safeway? I think they charge like, it's like 220 or 275 for delivery for like anything. You know what I mean? Then you can go to Rich B and $75. Like they'll bring you an opener for $75. You know what I mean? They'll bring you 3 doors, $75. It's like, wow. You know what I mean? Like they obviously are hungry. They want your business. And the quality is really good. You know what I mean? For what they are for residential. Definitely not complaining. Door is, don't need to rip off plastic wrap of each section. You know, for some reason they did on these 20s, these 23 wide ones, but I know what you're saying. Like Wayne Dalton, I used to love that about Wayne Dalton. Like we'd stack the Wayne Daltons, and the 9000 series would have it like stuck to it, and so the customer would like sometimes like the wife or something would come home, and they'd be like, is that the excuse me guys, excuse me, is that the way the door's gonna look? Oh no, you know, but I try not to let that stuff cook in the sun too long because I was always worried it was gonna leave like a residue or something attached to it. But I remember, you know, I remember customers thinking that, or like when you bring some dunnage, I sometimes would sandwich them, put one on the bottom, one on the top. And I remember I'd take that piece of dunnage, I'd like chuck it in their yard, not try to violently, but we just kind of toss it in the yard somewhere, and they'd be like, is that our new garage door? And I'm like, sometimes depending on the customer, I'd be like, yeah, like it's fine, right? It's got a little dirt and some dings on it. That's what you wanted, right? And they, oh, nah, it's just garbage. It's just, you know. But nobody understands that terminology when you tell them dunnage. You know, they're like, dunnage? They're like, what is? I've had guys telling me that. I've had my kids telling me that. I think I've had my wife tell me that one time. You know, and she's like, that's not a word. I'm like, that's what they call it. It's called dunnage. Oh yes, don't have to do that either. They got foam between the sections. Hopefully it's a soft foam. Could I tell you what, Wayne Dalton, they'd wrap 4 sections. I think it was 4 sections together, 4 or 5, for like a weird size. I think it was 10 by. It'd be like a 9 by 7. It was 9 by 7, 9 by 8. So maybe it was 4 sections. It didn't matter. But the foam they used was so stinking aggressive, and they wouldn't package it tight. So you'd like watch the guy pick it up, and then all you'd watch is all the sections do this. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Then he'd hand it to you, and I got so accustomed to it that I was just like, I got to open these. I know they're going to be damaged. And man, we had one, I didn't do that. We went up to Ludington, Michigan. It was a 2-door job. We got up there, we started stacking them. I did the peak, right? You guys do the peak, you know, the look-see roof, you know, kind of peek outside. I did the peak outside, and all the paint's rubbed off. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's bad. It ain't like a little touch-up paint like this. It's like, you better get 4 spray cans and spray this son of a biscuit. And being by the beach, yeah, right. With sand blowing everywhere, yeah, right. So we ended up ordering another replacement sections. Those ones came in damaged. So those ones, I ended up spraying them at the shop. I mean, then I had to try to repackage them with, like, you know, letting them dry. What a freaking waste of time. You know what I mean? So, like, this is so stupid. And, you know, you complain about it. You tell them at the seminars. They don't care. These places don't care. It's like these manufacturers. They don't give a rat's ass about you. They don't care. They don't care. All they care about is making money. They already got your money. Oh, we'll cover it in a warranty, but you're going to be waiting 2 months. Waiting 2 months, you know, like, they just don't care. So if you find somebody that takes good care of you, find good product, man, that's the key, man. You know, it takes pride in packaging, and the stuff all lines up. Oh, you hug them, you kiss them, you give them everything, because that's the most important, you know what I mean? What's dunnage? We call it, it's like taking like an old garage door and then you put it on the bottom so you don't damage it. Like if you got like one of those hitch receivers. So like, because what'll happen is like when you hit bumps, you'll crease the door. You know what I mean? If you got like a hitch thing sticking out, so you put a piece of dunnage. Think of it as like a piece of plywood, or just like an old wood door, or maybe a metal door. It's just there to protect the good door. So like those Wayne Daltons, sometimes I would sandwich them, and I showed them in videos before. I put a piece of dunnage down, then I put a piece of dunnage on top. I like the ones that got ribs because then I can put my track and my tubes in there and they don't roll off. So, and then I sandwich it, I wrap it all together with my ratchet strap. That's what they call dunnage. That's what they call it on the truck too. Oh, this is not mine. This is some other mop. How did you learn to work on commercial? Just getting into it. Residential started out with first. Got a bigger ladder. Burke, what's up, Burke? Where you been, man? I ain't gonna stand here too much longer. I think the kiddos, I told her to message me, but I see these. This one, they got a nice van next to me. They got the one that Mama would like. This is the newer, but she ain't gonna get the newer because it's got the hybrid in it. Hers runs really good with a 6-cylinder. I even was watching that video because Rich B sent me something about I didn't know Honda was doing the deactivation too on some of their vehicles, the cylinder deactivation. So, the headlights. Yeah, this place is empty now. A little bit of snow going on here. But yeah, just commercial, like I said, just slowly start with something slow and get yourself, just start working your way into it. Hopefully if it's local, just take your time. It's kind of like, I think Tanner says it right. It's the same thing. It's just bigger. You know what I mean? So you just got to work a little smarter. If you can get up to like a 10x8 and then you can get to a 12x12 and a 12x14, and if it feels like it's overwhelming, don't do it. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Just tell them, say, I don't think I'm a good fit. Don't be afraid. Like, that was one thing, especially being young, is like, you don't, like, not having the ability to say no. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really need to say no. You know what I mean? Or say, this is not really a good fit for me. You know what I mean? I'm a small whatever, or I can do it. I can try. I'm not guaranteeing nothing. I've used it like a college education. You know what I mean? Like, screw it. Like, tell them, say, I'll do it. But I'm not charging. I mean, like Tony just smashed that one, right? It happens, right? I think he did the right thing. You know what I mean? Didn't charge. I wouldn't charge. You know what I mean? This ain't no contract. You know what I mean? You got what you got, and it was free. You know what I mean? Like, oops, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, call somebody else. Luckily, you're not paying me. But, people go spend, 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 for college and just come out in the world and go, what do I do now? It's just take your time, Bear poke. Doing, or just keep finding one bigger until you find, yeah, oh my gosh, 40x18. Oh, exactly. That's big, man. That's big. Where I see people departing, of course my kid is going to be the last. She must be yakking. So, but yeah, no, like I said, it's all fun. You learn, you know what I mean? And like I said, you learn your demographics, you learn what the blowback is. That's why I call it blowback. See what customers are doing, and then you just have to react, right? What you basically have to do is be a problem solver. That's all. You're problem solving for people, and then you're hoping you're getting paid in return. And if you do it good enough, they'll keep paying you, they'll keep using you, they'll recommend you. Takes time. Takes time. It's a lot of time. I said damn near about 20 years in this thing. You know what I mean? Been around it, and I definitely am not going to sugarcoat it. I'm definitely very disappointed in the way products have gone. But, some of the tools and stuff have come a long ways. The technology's come a long ways, especially with cell phones and stuff. That's amazing. I mean, I used to go to the shop and just get a clipboard, and you only had, what was it? Yeah, kind of had email. You had a fax, and you had a telephone. That was it. Now you got all this other stuff, stuff coming in this way. So, and if you use it to your advantage, it's really can be very beneficial. Ooh, got 2 calls. Nice. Just keep it going, man. Big thing is answer that phone. Of course, where's the phone ring? We're right in line, right? The phone rings. I was telling Mr. Caleby, and I said, I told you, I said, that's why you change your phone every day. I said, it never fails. That phone is going to ring at the most inconvenient time. And I said, here we are, you're getting ready to check out at Subway, and your phone's ringing, and you don't got the voicemail set up. You know what I mean? And so set your voicemails up. Quit being lazy asses. Make sure you get up in the morning. You know, make it your morning practice. You work out, you take a shower, you brush your teeth, you make your voicemail. You know what I mean? You need every little thing you can get to get, you know, you work so hard to make that phone ring, and you pay a lot of money, right? You buy the trucks, right? You buy the advertising, the stickers, you buy the Google, you ask for the Google reviews, but then you don't take the time to change your voicemail because you're lazy. You know what I mean? Change your damn voicemail so it sounds professional and people know that you're there, because it's never going to fail that you're going to have 2 phone calls at the same time. I had it all the time. I have 3, 4, 6 calls coming at the same damn time, and I can't answer them. You know what I mean? But I knew my voicemail was there to save the day. You know, I tried my best. I tried to put my best foot forward. You know what I mean? And then one day you just get secretaries, and then you get it so it goes, if the secretaries miss it, it goes to like 3 other people, you know, down the line if they miss it. And then worst case, I guess we don't change voicemails anymore, but ours is all automated. And then the commercial, they just either go to normally whoever the sales guy is on it. It's all 2 jobs. Nice. First for sure, other replacement on Monday. Other is a maybe door replacement. Nice. We got a resi. I said, this one's through Facebook. He's gonna like buy the door and stuff. And I just told him, I said, we can't even look at it until probably Wednesday. I said, so, and he was fine with that. But he seems like he's the only one that's kind of lined up. A lot of inquiries, but nothing too serious or good. So, all right, guys, I got to get out of here. Hope you guys have a good one. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. Thanks for the community. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thursday and open replacement on Friday. Nice, Burke. That's awesome, man. You guys are doing good, man. You and Evan, you guys are doing good. That's awesome, man. Just keep it going. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll be a good year, you know, but you gotta keep swinging, right? All right, I'm out. See ya.